Good evening and welcome back to our post-game analysis of the first of the two running mate debates we will have this evening. My name is Larry Medowo. I am sitting here with a very distinguished panel. Thank you for staying with me, Simui Werunga, Miguna, Daisy Mdan, Dr. Alex Awiti. And joining us is Neri Mawako, Executive Director of the CIASA Place. You try and get young people involved in politics. Yeah. The man the whole country will be talking about tomorrow is Eliud Mudiora Kariara, the only running mate who was here at the start of the debate, and Debates Media Limited made the decision to go ahead with the debate with that one candidate, and he has told people to vote for his candidate, Dr. Japhet Kavinga Kaluyu, who he says is a man of action. And in fact, he said in one of his most outstanding statements from the entire period he was speaking to Sophia and Fred was, don't vote for the others, fagia wote. I want to get quick reaction, starting with the lady who was not on the panel before. You asked the question, you're now back on our panel. We're very excited. Nerima, what did you think?
I thought he was very brave. Honestly, I think that he's going to be a hero to many young people. He is breaking barriers that we thought were not possible, and I commend him for being on that panel alone. It was disappointing not to see other candidates. This is their opportunity to talk to the populace, and they threw it away. So for me, I say it's a plus. It's great to see young people such as those in such positions.
Miguna, what did you think of the only man to show up on that stage?
I also agree that it was brave. It was the right thing to do. He showed statesmanship. He was able to audition to Kenyans. And I believe that at the end of the day, Dr. Kaluyu and Mr. Kariara will pick up quite a lot of votes, just on the basis that they were able to show up and face Kenyans and tell us what they stand for. It is unfortunate that my friend Ekuru kept his deputy away.
Ekuru Court is here, by the way. He's right, literally steps away from here. He and his deputy are here.
And I think that they should have come and demonstrated that they are better than either the president and his deputy or the NASA presidential candidate and their deputy, whom I hope will show up. So I think they tried.
Ekuru Court has just told us minutes ago before we came back on that you guys wanted the circus and you've had the circus.
Oh, really? I think that, they're the ones who've lost out.
Yeah.
They've lost a great opportunity, and I think this Kariara has done well. He has shown himself to be an honorable man, willing to play by the rules, and not afraid, to take the bull by the horn. So for me, this is something new. Those who have missed out, I can see, they put their threats, to action that they are going to turn up. Well, it is their loss, and I think as they accuse others of grandstanding, this time their grandstanding has fallen flat on its face, and they are the lesser for it.
So the first candidate to arrive here was Miriam Mutua, accompanied by Professor Michael Wainaina, who's the presidential candidate. And Miriam Mutua and Professor Wainaina had what you'd call a grand entrance. There it is. That's what happened. And they made for the auditorium. They were blocked from accessing the auditorium. They're not inside there because the debate was already underway. So after Miriam Mutua, you see him there with Professor Michael Wainaina, who is the...
And Dr. Kaluyu is behind.
And Dr. Kaluyu Kavinga is behind there.
They drove in one car.
They drove in one car. There was a bit of a scene when they came in. And then, since then, we've had other candidates come in, including Dr. Ekuru Aukot and his running mate. They're all trying to access the auditorium, and they have been blocked from doing so because the next debate we're expecting is at 8 p.m. with Kalonzo Musyoka and William Ruto. Dr. Awiti, what do you think?
I think this is exactly what the country must say no to.
Yes.
Yeah. This is arrogant, it is hubris, it is unprecedented, it is uncalled for. But having said that, I think Kariara is my hero tonight. This is the face of the future. This is the face of Kenya post-2022. And I think, as Nerima said, a lot of young people are looking at this young man today and saying, oh my God, me too. Yes, I can do it too. And I must say, I must commend Dr. Kaluyu, because he's been a sportsman, he's played by the rules, he got his candidate on the podium when all the other guys refused to do that. And I really think that this is a teachable moment in our democracy and in trying to reinstate the rule of law and due process. And just basic civility and decorum. Play by the rules. Just show up. And as Miguna said, you had the whole country watching for you to come and say why you are the alternative leadership, why you will be the difference. And they don't show up. Then they come back here and say that they served us the suckers. How arrogant and disrespectful is that?
Is he a candidate or a circus owner?
A clown.
He told us, you wanted a circus, Dr. Ikuru Okot, you have a circus.
And he's
So,
the clown.
I think
before you come in, Simiyu, I'm looking at some of the feedback right now on hashtag debates KE. Dominic Wambua says this young man is young, bold, and intellectually sober, and the country has had a chance to see that. Eric Onchonga says the young guy was brilliant. Now I understand why the others chickened out. Cliff Njora Njuguna says this is the beginning of an amazing journey for you, such a realistic individual. Simiyu.
Yeah, I think one, I have no idea why these fellows refuse to bring their running mates. Then they show up.
More of them are still coming in. I can see another one of the running mates coming in.
So
right now.
I'm surprised how insidious, not even arrogant, they are to the people of this country.
Really.
And I think this country, this kind of characters, and with nothing personal, do not deserve to lead anybody in this country. Because if this is how they are going to behave when they are minority candidates,
And they have no power.
and they have no power, and they are behaving this way, so you can imagine if, God forbid, one of them can have space to lead this country, what they can go to this country. I think God is, I'm religious, so God knows what is happening. And this young man, I can assure you, if he doesn't get himself out of politics, is a man to watch. You could see he spoke, he was very sober, he was very measured, and it's like it was a textbook thing. So if he continues playing what is doing now, I think he has a future in politics, and probably these are the people we are saying this country needs to have them, people who are sober, who are not corrupted yet, and therefore we need them in the future. At our age, some of us are looking at them and people who can be brought up. But when you look at the circles of these presidential candidates, and they have the audacity to walk into this auditorium at this time when they refuse to send their own deputies, Larry, I think these are jokers. And I'm happy the media took the bluff and played it.
Yeah.
You know? And who is looking more foolish? Is it the media
Or is it them?
is it them? So the jury is out there to the Kenyan people to know who between the media and these fellows has done the right thing.
You work with a lot of young people and trying to get them engaged in politics. And here's an example of the kind of people you're trying to get involved, right, Nerima? Simply one boy says, I give it to Mudiora Carriera. He kept time, his commitment, and has made a mark in my mind. If not now, next time.
Yeah, I think what he's done, like I said, is rewrite history for young people, because here we are feeling like we don't have much choice to select from, and we had a new option today. Even though more than likely they might not win, there's a good chance he's going to receive some votes because of how he spoke today, because people now know him. What I'm curious to know is, why are the candidates finding this forum now important? Why wasn't it important before? Perhaps was it when they saw him speak and now they realize, man, we lost an opportunity, now we need to send our candidates there. It looks very shoddy, it looks very last minute, it looks so disorganized, and that's the thing that we're trying to tell young people we don't want. We've been having it for a long time. We need a fresh change, we need new faces, and he has come and shown us this is it. I'm here. The option exists. So I think that it's a new day for our country when it comes to politics. What we're saying is there are new names to be reshuffled. We don't have to worry about seeing nominations coming in and seeing the same old faces, the same old names. Now we can look at young people who are intelligent and capable of leading this country.
I want to read some of the comments right now on hashtag debates KE just to get a sense of what you thought of Carriera showing up and being the only candidate on that stage. This is DJ Slim. The other candidates are arrogant. What time are they arriving, he says. Njihia Kelvin, leave Ekuru arrogance. That shows the caliber of the so-called alternatives. This other one is Robin says, Carriera is my hero tonight. G_Ikuru, I was so undecided for the presidential candidate, but now I have seen the kind of leader I want. which speaks to the fact that he had the entire country watching. It was just
Yes.
him alone.
Yes.
Nobody to interrupt.
Prime time.
On
Yes,
prime time on all the
time.
stations. So he introduced an interesting topic, which is, he says, don't vote for any of them. Fagia wote. Which is something that has been a rallying call on Twitter, on social media, that the current leadership has failed and should get rid of all of them and bring a new one. And he brought it now to this national stage and told Kenyans, don't vote for the other people, fagia wote. Miguna, what did you think?
I think it was refreshing. The only thing it denied us is the opportunity to interrogate all of them together and be able to contrast. But really, the competitors cannot complain that they did not have an opportunity to be here. And they clearly cannot blame the media for not having invited them. They were all invited. They were all given equal opportunity. Some of them were aggrieved. They went to court. They lost. And there is no reason, there is no justified reason not to have been here. More importantly, it is now going to be extremely difficult for any of the presidential candidates to convince Kenyans they are better than President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has also said that his deputy is not coming, or they are better than Raila Odinga, who also made a statement that if William Ruto is not coming, Kalonzo Musyoka is not coming. So they left the field wide open for Karriara, and I think he ran with it. Now, Kenyans have, as I said, this is going to be a defining moment, a defining election. And I think Kenyans now need to be able to demonstrate that they are capable of choosing their own leaders and that nobody owns them. There is nothing wrong with a young man. If he's wearing a suit, he certainly can be a vice president. In fact, if you look at some of the cabinet ministers that were appointed shortly after independence, Tom Mboya was in his 20s. This young man is older than Tom Mboya, when Tom Mboya was a major Pan-African leader in Africa. If you compare him to Musalia Mudavadi, when Moi plucked Musalia Mudavadi shortly after graduating from the University of Nairobi, he was in his 20s too, and he was made a cabinet minister. I can go on and on. So nobody was born a leader. This man seized the moment, and I think that I say congratulations to him, bravo.
Absolutely.
Dr. Wita, I want to bring out something he said about the banking sector. He says the banking sector, banks used to make pornographic profits. And he raised the issue with that. Just talking about
That
maybe...
sounds like Miguna's language.
No, I don't say things like that. No. I'm very scientific.
He was concerned about, obviously talking about the interest rate caps and the changes therein, but pornographic profits, one as a term to use there, supernormal profits, is interesting, but talking about the need for more regulation to make sure that services, financial services are available to ordinary citizens.
No, I think, just on that, I think he made several very substantive points about the fiscal management of the country.
Yes.
You may not agree with some of them, but I think you appreciate the effort, the intellectual activity around thinking around those issues. He talked about mobilizing domestic revenue.
Yes.
And I think it goes at the heart of the banking sector because they're mopping up all the revenue through the interest rates that they rake from us.
Right.
He talked about expanding the tax base. He talked about cutting taxes. He talked about, and Miguna and I were laughing when he talked about reducing sales tax from 16% to 4%.
To 3%.
Yes.
To 4%. He talked about stemming runaway external debt. So I think he's really onto something. And I think what you must give them is, and I think it's exactly the point we've been talking about. This moment, this debate today was not about the second-tier candidates and the front candidates. It was about a conversation with Kenyans on the issues that they want to put on the table. And the boy, the gentleman just nailed them. I'm sorry to call him a boy. He just nailed the questions. It's around the economy, opportunity and youth, taming runaway debt, and talking about jobs and training and mentorship so that young people can ascend to positions of wages that don't pay starvation salaries.
Right.
So I think really that's where we ought to go. He basically brought out the issues, and I think that's what debates are about: competing visions for our country. You may not agree with this, with their points, and that's why Muguna says they denied us an opportunity to then look at his vision vis-a-vis the other candidates. But on the face of it, as panelists, we may overreach ourselves by criticizing.
Right.
But that's not the point. The point that we were supposed to address here today is which visions and what is the extent of differentiation, and therefore what should Kenyans start looking out for come August 8th.
So the question here, Daisy, is not so much as we won't even discuss what the substance he offered or not, just by the fact of him showing up, there's so much goodwill that has been garnered. For instance, Harrison Mwale asks, why should we give jobs to people who don't show up for the job interview?
Who don't want to.
I mean, I think
and now we know his
I
name,
like
but
that.
we don't know the others.
Absolutely. We had said we didn't know the names, but
Now we know at least one name,
yes,
yes.
we do. And I think I want to agree with Alex on the fact that he has nailed the issues. He may not have gone in depth into the issues that are affecting Kenyans, but giving people something to think about, because that is one of the things that these rallies and the campaign mobilization doesn't really get people to start beginning to think about Kenya, about how people's leadership or whatever is being offered by the leaders and the political parties, how it affects their lives. And one of the issues when he brings about, I think the word maybe that he was looking for were the obscene profits that are made by the we get the meaning. Yes, the obscene profits that have been made, by the banks. And if you recall, the entry of Equity Bank brought into the sector those that are considered the unbanked, the ordinary mwananchi, to bring them into some kind of fiscal regimens where they can actually begin to think beyond the hand-to-mouth existence, so that we can begin to build a saving culture and begin to expand even that tax bracket, So he has touched on several issues. Yes, we will not be able to interrogate them against the other candidates because we simply do not know what they stand for.
Right.
But I do think that now Kenyans can begin to interrogate what leadership should be addressing in terms of how is your leadership going to affect my life,
all right.
So that it's about interest, so that it goes beyond just tribal interests. It goes just beyond we won, you lost. It's about how is this leadership going to transform my life and avail to me opportunities beyond just the grandstanding.
Okay, Simiyu, before we go to the break.
Yes, I think the fact that we are discussing this young man speaks for everything. The rest can come and banty around and tell us the suckers. But you see, we are discussing this young man. The country is discussing this young man. The opportunity he took to tell us what they believe in as a candidate and a deputy has already made many Kenyans now know who this man is. And like you are saying, Awiti, he spoke to very crucial issues in this country.
Yes.
The processes of achieving them could be different and not wanting in some spaces, but at least he has touched, and this tells you the intellectual capacity of this young man and his team, that they could actually go into the core issues that are affecting this country and talk about them.
Okay.
To me, that is the score.
That is the score. He's just since tweeted Karriera Mudiora. I guess we're going to need to be following him now that everybody knows him as Karriera Mudiora is his Twitter. Thank you, Kenya, for giving us the platform to present our vision for you. Vote for change, vote for Dr. Kaluyu and I. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's very gracious.
Very honorable.
Listen, we have to take a really quick break right now. We're coming back with more of the post-game analysis, I guess, for the first debate and pre-game analysis for the next debate, which will now take place in 29 minutes. We expect Deputy President William Ruto and NASA Deputy Presidential running candidate or running mate, if you like, Kalonzo Musyoka. The other candidates who have since arrived at the scene at the Catholic University of East Africa will not be allowed to participate in that debate because that debate just ended. This 8 p.m. debate will be moderated by Hussein Mohammed. Right now, though, a quick break.
Shooting yourself.